When I was raised up as a young boy in free institutions, I considered that was my only home that I was given in those days of native welfare, and I was under the control of the officers of the Christian Brothers, the Catholic Church here in WA. So I've got over that. When I left the gates of Clontarf, I was told never to go back to Clontarf, set foot back in there by one of the brothers. When I was told that, I made a conscious decision too that I've got to keep I've got to be disciplined. I've got to keep my coolness, you could say, not getting in trouble with anyone, the law, or do this or anything that could be in some way detrimental to my upbringing. And when you leave the gates of Clontarf with just a little small case or a pair of socks and underpants and nothing else, it was terrible. I said, well, why are they treating the boys, people like ourselves, as though we were just outcasting in some way, So those days are gone. So people like myself are building a new era in Aboriginal affairs here, a new era for our community. And the new era is to give the young male and female the fundamental right of getting an education. I consider education as top priority in Aboriginal affairs in this country. So native welfare was a ruthless area of government, and right across Australia. Here in WA, there was no difference. It was just a genocide that was going on to remove us away from our loved ones and segregate us and almost wipe us out as one race of people. And that's very, very sad and very hurtful that the first people of Australia were treated like this, It was sad that I never met my mother. And I guess the most pleasing thing about this whole area of myself is meeting Teresa, my wife, who I met in Broome, and I married a Broome girl. She's from the Yawuru community, Yawuru tribe. We got married, and it was through her. She's really kept me steady, kept me on the ground, you could say too, and built a good life, a good family life with 2 daughters, Renee and Kim. Now we have 2 grandsons. So in the 17 years in that institution, no one told me that there were family living down. Our brothers and sisters living 2 miles away, and no one knew that I was up there in Clontarf. And all that mob down in Busselton, Margaret River, I mobbed down there and didn't even know where I was. Until I got a job, for the first job in government in 1976-77. I got a job as a community and child health assistant. We were doing the research at how many people were in these lodging houses, overcrowding. In the 3 weeks of that survey, I came to this house, the last house of the survey, and I knocked on the door, and this old lady answered the door. Oh, hello, my name's Robert Isaacs. I'm doing a survey for the health department, and I just want to ask you some questions. And she kept looking at my badge, and I said, "There's something distracting you?" She says, "Yeah, Isaacs. Are you related to all that mob from Margaret River, Busselton?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking for my family." "I know where your mob is, I know." And she said, I said, "I'll come back that afternoon at 5 o'clock and we'll sit down and have a yarn." We had a good yarn for 2 hours, and she said, "I want you to come back on Friday of that week, Friday, at 12 o'clock. And I said, "Okay, I'll do that." I went and knocked on her door. She took me and said, "I want you to walk with me from this house just around the corner into Beaufort Street." So Newcastle Street, Beaufort Street. And she walked me down 200 yards, and there were 2 big doors. And she knocked on the door. And next minute, the doors opened and there was a mob of people in there. It was Auntie Liza, Mrs. Isaacs, running a soup kitchen, Samuel Isaacs, and all the nieces and nephews in there, So we call the grapevine, in Aboriginal grape, we call it, but word gets around. Once one of your relatives have been found, people want, and they were there, there was over 30 of them. Naturally, I broke down again, and I found family. It was only through that old lady, by meeting that old lady in East Perth in that time. Wadadi, that's our tribe, the Bibbulmun people of the southwest. They are my group, our language group, my tribe, we call it, And that's my home. I belong to them. I belong to that community down there, of the southwest. of Bustleton, Margaret River, Dunsborough, Augusta, through there. I love it. I always go down there a lot to meet family and work with people down there. That's where I belong. That is my country. That is my home, my heritage, my belief. The stars, the waters, the country, the bush, you name it, yeah? We say when we do Welcome to Country, our mother doesn't belong to us. We belong to her.